Hey there. Hey there, hey there. I have so many things that I want to talk about with you. In general, I have always so many things that I want to talk about with you. And this is how this is going to go. This is how I am going to demonstrate and teach to you in this moment how to follow the artist in one capacity, first of all. So I had this feeling in my body of like, I need something, like I need something. And oftentimes people are like, oh, I need to go work out, or I'm hungry, or I need to have sex, or like I need to go out, or it's just like this expression. There's this thing inside of them that just, they know that something needs to get out. I need to do something. And that basically translates to, I need to put this somewhere. I am feeling something, I am experiencing something, and I need to put it somewhere. I need to satiate this. And what I want to say is, it's actually, we want to satiate how starving we are for full expression. And when I say to you, I'm going to demonstrate what it means to follow the artist in one capacity, what I mean exactly in this moment, and with that is, I had that feeling, I had that sort of hunger, I had that sense of, I need to satiate this, I need to do something, I need to put this somewhere. And so the way that I go about doing that is by listening to my body. And the first thing my body wanted to do was to light this Palo Santo. So I light it. And, it's going out, it's doing its thing. Okay, I'm gonna put it in the plant. Put it in the plant, in the dirt. Because that's what feels good. And then I have all these thoughts about different topics and different things I wanna bring forward for people. And so what I do, my way of following the artist, is by going in, getting quiet, closing my eyes, and being like, okay, we lit the Palo Santo, we're sitting here, now what? And I began speaking, and what came out was this inability to satiate our hunger. And that was something that I had wrote on my board. I say board, it's not a board, it's my door. Where is it? Oh, starving for expression and witness. Yeah, I had written a note on my door, which is where I keep all my notes, all the things that randomly come through my mind, all the things that drop in all the time, because I will hear a phrase, or I will see a certain thing, or I'll start to see patterns within my clientele, or I'll be going through something myself, and all of these things are connected. So ultimately, when something hits a little bit different, I put it up on my door here, up on my window, to be tended to later. And so here I am, feeling this like physical, I need to put this somewhere. I need to do something with this. And so I go to my artistry, which is channeling and speaking. That in and of itself is something I want you to know, is that when you feel like you need to put something somewhere, when you feel hungry, when you feel like this, you have this appetite that you need to appease, that is an invitation from your body to practice your artistry, whatever that may be. Because that idea of I need to put this somewhere means there's something flowing through me that I need to allow to flow through me. And the only way that we really, truly, and in a complete way are able to execute that in a way that will fully fulfill us is by following our artistry, is by doing the thing that is our artistry. So for me, it is channeling, it is speaking, and so I'm gonna do that. For those of you that are maybe listening to this and you're like, well, I don't know what my artistry is. First of all, reach out, talk to me. Shoot me a DM, we'll schedule a session, or so that we can, find your way to that. Or honestly, you do know what your artistry is you just don't A, think that it's artistry, or B, it doesn't hold enough value for you. You don't give yourself enough permission to do that thing that you are inherently so good at. So what's coming to my mind right now is my handler, my manager, Nicole. She is a manager. She's a handler. She problem solves. She helps. Like, that's her jam in so many ways. And so for her, when she is like, I need to put this somewhere, there's an invitation there for her to go help someone. Please excuse the motorcycle that just left my home, the front yard. This is an invitation to go help someone, to make yourself available to be of service. You know, and that was something that I actually learned when I was in 12-Step Fellowship, which, you know, welcome to another little detail about Olivia. I was in 12-Step Fellowship for a number of years. And for me, my personal experience with that was, as a youngster, not knowing that I was as empathic and intuitive and as much of a clairvoyant as I am, I felt everything. I heard everything. I saw things about people. I read energy, and I lived in this metaphysical, non-tangible, in-between space that didn't make sense to me because no one ever spoke to me about it. No one ever even told me that that was a thing, that could be a thing. So I just thought I had anxiety. I just thought I was depressed. I thought I was fucking crazy. I just thought I was a mess. And my way of dealing with that was drugs, was to take a lot of drugs and kind of numb out. The other thing about mind-altering substances, which I have, you know, come full circle and learned from a different perspective after having studied with different shamans and medicine women and medicine men, that the usage of plant medicine is to break down the physical barrier. The usage of plant medicine is to break down our attachment to the physical so that we can get beyond that density, and we can experience and know ourselves as something more than just our physical form, something more than just the physical existence that is here on this plane. So through the course of that journey of trying to negotiate my relationship with my artistry, it involved a lot of drugs and alcohol. And I think that's true for humanity in a lot of ways right now. You know, at least in this country, we love to drink, we love to shop, we love to eat, we love to party, we love to feed ourselves a bunch of empty calories in a lot of different ways, as a means to try and satiate that deep, deep hunger. And really the hunger that we are experiencing is a hunger of knowing ourselves. The hunger that we are experiencing is a hunger to return home, a hunger to return to our sense of source, our God consciousness, our universal expression. That's what we're really trying to appease. That's what we're really hungry for all the time. And so again, in my quest, lots of drugs and alcohol. And what I found once I got sober, and it was interesting, when I was in rehab, I remember, and this is again another nod to me finding my artistry. And that's the thing about the universe, is that we're constantly being the universe is constantly trying to redirect us back home to our artistry, which is our universal expression, which is our God consciousness. So I found myself in rehab because I'm trying to negotiate this energy reading, esoteric teacher, metaphysical oracle creature that I am. I get into rehab, and not using was not hard for me at all. It wasn't hard. I didn't even really have a lot of physical detox symptoms. But I remember getting into rehab, and rehab is, of course, a lot of therapy. It's a lot of working through childhood trauma and wounding and generational things. And so I remember having a moment within the first couple of days, and I'm just like, oh my God, so we are going to sit around here and talk about our feelings, and we're going to sit in circle and process things, and we're going to share, and we're going to be emotional and human. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. It was such a perfect fit. And again, I say to you, the universe was directing me, girl, this is your medicine. This is the shit you love because it makes sense. It's easy. Your whole body is a yes to it, etc., etc. So that brings us back to my earlier statement of when we feel like we have to put something somewhere, when we're feeling hungry, when we're feeling anxious or agitated and just sort of jammed up, we need to go to our artistry. We need to do the thing that is inherently for us to do. What is challenging about that for us is we have only deemed certain things valuable in our life. We have deemed, our job, we have deemed the things, like the physical things, the amount of money, the title, the status. We have deemed all these physical things the only valuable things, the most valuable things. We have deemed our attachments and our definitions the most important and valuable things. So again, I'm gonna dip back to my experience with plant medicine from a more spiritual and well-held side. The point of it is to get me, when people go on ayahuasca journeys or iboga or, whatever it is that people feel like they want to do, mushrooms, and, the microdosing is a whole thing, DMT, like there's all of this very pop culture usage of drugs. But from a medicinal perspective, the point of that is to get you beyond your physical barriers. And so when I say to you, we have deemed our work and our financial status and our titles and our, physical existence, the apex, when we have opted into only that, we're attached. We are extremely attached. And so it makes it really difficult for us to think or believe that I'm feeling all kinds of jammed up. I need to, what do I need to do? I need to go help somebody else. And that's what made me ultimately think of the 12-step fellowship, is because that was something that I learned in that whole process. When I'm feeling jammed up about something, going to help another immediately shifts the perspective. That's spiritual alchemy. And about this time last year, I did a moon circle ceremony and teaching on spiritual alchemy. But going to help another, being of service to another, was instructed to me because it gets me out of my own way. It gets me out of my head. And now, what are we talking about? I'm like 20 years later. Is that real? I'm 37. I'm about to be 38. I went into rehab when I was 18, 17. I don't remember. 20 years ago. Whoa, yep, 20 years ago, because it was March 9th of 2001 is when I went into rehab. Damn, and this is 2021. Okay, old lady here. When I went, what I was taught in the halls of 12-Step Fellowship was to be of service. And the reason why that helped and the reason why that matters is because it would get me out of my own way. It got me out of my head. It got me out of my own egoic tunnel vision, obsessive mode of whatever it was that was jamming me up. And now, 20 years later, what I have learned through the journey of that experience is that whether being of service or whether helping another, I know I referenced my manager, whether that is your artistry or not, what it provides is connection. It provides perspective, absolutely, it gets you out of your head, but it feeds that need for connection. And that is what we are so hungry for. That is the bottomless, insatiable appetite that we are all numbly stumbling around trying to experience, is connection. So again, I say, whether that's your artistry or not, being of service to another when you are jammed up, when you feel like you are in a time of need, it feeds that. It feeds that inherent life source, God consciousness experience. The reason why I say to you, go to your artistry when you have to put something somewhere. So that might mean paint something. That might mean channel and speak. That might mean cook something. That might mean make a fucking spreadsheet with something. That might mean, provide business advice. That might mean go, hiking, commune with nature, whatever your artistry is, whatever it is. The reason why that also is my invitation to you is because executing and exercising our artistry also is about connection. It reminds us that we are directly in relationship with source frequency. And I'm doing this thing right here, up and down, because we're going to get to that in a second. Up and down. Source is not out here trying to come in there. That is part of the movement, but it's not the only movement. And I'll get into that later. When we exercise our artistry, we are opening up and allowing the energetics to move through our respective channel. We are connected to our source frequency. We are connected to our point of origin, and that feeds the insatiable appetite that we all have. That feeds it. That's what we're wanting more than anything, is connection. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be held. We want to be witnessed. We want to know that we have a place. We want to know that our existence matters. All of that stuff. And right now, because we are so overly affixed and attached to our physical existence, most of the time we feel like we need someone else, another person, to say those words to us. And that's okay for now, absolutely. If that's part of the process for you, absolutely. It's definitely part of my process still. I'm in this human form, like I'm still here. I still absolutely embody my humanity, and I love my humanity. And I can fulfill that hunger by exercising, strengthening, and tuning into my connection with my creational life force. Creational life force. That's what I mean when I say God consciousness. Whatever your creational life force is, whatever it is, a thing that just flows through you organically, like you can't stop it. And that's why I always talk about artistry and referring to ourselves as artists, because artists can't not create. One of my ex-husbands, and I say one of them because I have more than one. You're getting a lot of information about me today. One of my ex-husbands was a musician, and he would write songs to like move that energy through him. And we all accept that as artistry. We all understand that that's allowed, that, you know, artists in the traditional sense are like really moody and they're emotional and then that's how they create such beautiful things. Well, we're the same, whether you're a musician or a painter or not. We're the same. Holding space is an artistry. Being a listener is artistry. Receiving and witnessing is artistry. So the bottom line of all of that little tangent is about reminding you and making sure you understand that we all have that need to deliver that which flows through us, like in a way that we can't stop it. We can't stop it. So whatever it is that you can't stop doing, being in love, maybe that's what you can't stop doing. Guess what? That's a nod to your artistry. That's a nod to what you were put here to do as an assignment, as a member of the human consciousness. So go do it, you know? And give yourself the opportunity to experience that connection and the fulfillment of that hunger in a new way. Because that is a completely different musculature. Spiritual, energetic, emotional, these are non-tangible musculatures that work in the very same way as our physical musculature does. And what a beautiful gift that our physical musculature can teach us that lesson. Because again, we are so affixed and we're so attached to the physical, we need like visual representation in order to conceptually understand it for now, right? Like this whole process of expansion and ascension and unification on an energetic level will lead us to other experiences. And those are things that I talk about in different spaces and places, or things that I work with one-on-one with clients. But for now, when we're just working on this three-dimensional physical realm, we can look to all of the things of the physical representation to help us understand and conceptualize what is possible and what we are capable of on a metaphysical astral level, on a spiritual, esoteric, non-tangible level. And that's the shit. Oh my God, that's so exciting. That's why when I sat down in rehab, I'm like, oh my God, we get to process all day? I love it. Because that's my artistry. That's what I am here for, is to help provide this information and bring it forward from you. For you, for me, for you. I love that I said that though, and this is a different rabbit hole, but when we talk about unification, we are all one. So I do get that from you, and then I process it and I give it back to you, which brings up that mirroring effect of us. So like I said, when I have things to share, I could go on for hours and days and weeks and months and years about all the different information. But I want to go back to this starving for expression and witness. In a lot of ways, that's what this social media phenomenon is about. Everyone's just posting themselves and everyone's like, look at me, look at me, look at me. And I know we have this aggressive kind of judgment about that stuff. Like attention whore are things that we say to people, which is really harsh. I don't know why we use those words. It's not helpful. But yeah, we are overrun by social media because everyone is starving to be witnessed. Everyone is starving for full expression. And right now, we think that the only way we can be witnessed and fully expressed is by another human being saying, I see you. And that is a very necessary part of the process. I'm a yes. I spend my days doing that. I'm a yes, I'm a yes, I'm a yes. And one of my desires for all of us, the very particular invitation I'm giving you right now in this moment as you're listening to it, is to investigate what it might be like to witness yourself, to be of service to yourself by tuning into your artistry, doing the thing that you can't not do, even if your brain, which is all about physical human conditioning, even if your brain says, that's not going to help, don't do that, you can't garden right now, we have so many other things to do. Even if your brain says, no, you can't, or that's not good enough, or some other type of narrative, just do it anyways and see what happens. What is the worst that could happen, right? Just do it anyways and see what happens. And in that way, are you bearing witness to your own experience? You are being that observer that I talk about when I say we are the art, we are the artist, we are the observer. And that's how you start to flex and understand and integrate this spiritual, emotional, psychic musculature that I'm talking about. You get to operate with a wavelength and frequency that you may not be familiar with as of yet, but it is that frequency, it is that remembrance, it is that connection to your creative life force energy that we are all so deeply and terribly hungry for, that we are starving for. I know I told you I would talk about life force and things like that, but what's happening in this moment is that all my words are coming to an end. All my things are complete. And in that way, I'm going to continue to follow the artist, AKA follow the consciousness as it flows through me. And what I have learned about myself through this journey and through this process of existence and life is that when I have no more words coming forward, that means there are no more words that need to be spoken. I may have thought I was going to talk about something and then all of this came out and now it feels complete. So I'm going to trust the fact that whatever needed to be said was said. And that's that. That's my experience in one of my versions of following the artist. Trusting that creative life force within me, because that's what I mean. That's what the artist is. It's this God consciousness following the artist. And I am also the art because I am the thing that wants to be made manifest, you know. There's so many layers to this. It's really a beautiful teaching that I, in this moment, want to express my gratitude for you being here on this channel, in my channel with me while I am channeling. And expressing my artistry, because none of this works without you. None of this works without you. And when I say this, I mean this whole consciousness, this whole existence. None of this works without each one of us opting in and choosing and doubling down on the artistry that is us, on the medicine that we are made up of. So as always and ever, do I invite you to continue to follow your artistry. If you have questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment, to ask a question. I will respond. Check out things on Instagram. You can send DMs there if you have more things you want to know about. But thank you for being here. Thank you for opting into yourself in a way that will ultimately bring you back home. As I said, the universe is always forcing us back home to your artistry, back home to your God consciousness, back home to your creative life force, the thing that flows through you no matter what, that you just can't not do. Okay? I love you with all my heart.